Hello. I hope people can see me. I'm Hi everybody, I'm Sanatina and we're just getting set up. So yeah, we'll just wait for a few more minutes to get started to see if other people are going to join in. So as you're coming into the room, if you could let me know, who's here, where you're from maybe. Sorry about that, just a second. There we go. All right. Trying to get the chat window to start. Hi. All right. Now I can see you. Hi, Devmar. All right. It looks like we are live. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello, everybody. I am Sanatina. And thank you for registering on italki. So I'm sure most of you are aware of what italki is. I'm just going to give you a brief introduction, just in case you might not be super aware of it. So italki is a global language learning community that connects students and teachers for one-on-one language lessons. Did you know that there are over 1,000 teachers on the platform? Most of them, out of them, more than 3,000 teach English. I am one of those English teachers, and so maybe I will be seeing some of you in my lessons too. An interesting fact you may not know: according to research conducted by Queen's University and the University of Southern Carolina, italki came out as the #1 online platform to learn a language. It takes just 19 hours on italki compared to a college semester to move from one level to another. So if you're a beginner or an A1, you can move to an A2 within a duration of just 19 hours compared to 45 hours on average it takes in college. So think about the time you save, as well as the money and the convenience of learning from anywhere you want. To encourage you to get started taking lessons with a teacher here on italki, I'm going to give you a coupon. So I'm giving you a coupon today you can use to get $10 off your first purchase on the platform. So you just have to sign in to use my name to use it. So sorry, just a second. Let me go ahead and get the link into the chat. So yeah, it's my name. So it's oh, sorry about this. My chat window's not working quite right. But it's just my name, which is Sanatina, Saunatina. So if you put that name into the link, italki.com/recharge. So if you put that coupon code onto that page when you buy your first set of credits, so you can't have any credits on your account, you can't have taken a lesson yet with this coupon. But if this is your first time buying credits, if you put that code in on italki.com/recharge, that's a $10 coupon code for you. So that's my gift to you. Now let's see, how do we get the most out of our lessons? Yes, Sonatina. Thank you so much for writing that in there, Nicholas. That is the coupon code. I'm going to figure out why my chat isn't working after I get done with the little presentation that I have for you, and then I'll be taking questions and figure out this chat thing. So how do we get the most out of your English lessons on italki? So first thing is creating a goal. How do you create a goal for language learning? For me, the most important part of learning a language is having a clear, specific goal. The best method I've found for narrowing down the big speak language goal is choose three things: a topic, a person, and a language skill. We study language to use them, right? Always keep in mind why you want to use the language. Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to talk to them about? A topic and a person. Once you answer these two questions, you can work with your teacher on picking one of the little skills at a time to help you improve to get your big conversation goals. There are a lot of skills to pick from. Just in my focus of pronunciation, there's individual sounds like v and th, word emphasis. So, what syllable in a word is emphasized? Sentence rhythm. What word in a sentence is emphasized? And intonation. Where do we put meaning, feeling how do we put feeling into our language? So those are little skills you can learn by using the language with who you want to talk to and a subject you want to talk about. And of course, get away from perfectionism. You don't need to learn a skill perfectly to be able to start a new skill. Language is a cumulative process, it builds on itself. So if you want to keep adding things, you want to keep adding things even before you've mastered the previous skill. In sum, be clear about what you're learning for. Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to talk about? And intensely focus on one skill at a time. Add skills on a consistent schedule. Next, how do you find the right teacher to lead you to your goal? So, you have a good idea on how to create your goal. How do you find the right teacher on italki? And I'm going to show you a little secret most students don't know about, which is using the filters on the search function on italki. So, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to take you through how you would search for a teacher on italki. So here we have the search screen, and we have a lot of English teachers, over 2,000, over 2,500 English teachers to pick from. So to narrow that down, we want to go through some search things. So teacher type, we have professional teachers and community tutors, people who have degrees of some kind, people who are just language learners themselves and want to help other people. Where do you come from? Do you want to learn a specific accent? I like the New Zealand accent. I'm from America, but I really like the New Zealand accent. A particular rate you can look for. The teacher speaks your language. Do you still need help in your first language? You can pick from a bunch of tutors and see who's there. Um, and then, are they a native speaker? Are they very advanced? These are people who have been teaching the language for years. And then skills. So very common thing, test preparation. A lot of people need to take tests. So now we've gone from over 2,500 teachers to 12 using our filters. So now we can select from a more narrow group of people, and we can see, well, Julie's available for a lot. She has a lot of hours. You can also see her video on this page and a little brief introduction talking about who she is and what she likes. So as you see, people like certain things. So I'm actually going to get rid of the New Zealand filter and put in writing as a skill something that somebody likes, the teacher that you want to work with. So now you see we have 628 teachers from around the world. And let's see, it's got a lot of, here we yeah, Jennifer has a lot of availability. So let's look at Jennifer's profile. make sure everybody's good. All right. So here on on Jennifer's profile, we see the intro video. So this is a really great thing to look at and see before you pick a teacher to see if you like their vibe. You know, learning a language is a collaborative process with the teacher. And so being able to have a good conversation, a good relationship with the teacher is important. Then we have, you know, their longer intro talking about how they teach. You can go through the options they have. Then you can see what experience they have, the education they have, and the lesson history. And so you trial lessons and schedule a lesson. And you can see her schedule right here. So you can see when she's available to be taken. All right. So, now and I wanted to show you, so the place to put your, once you've picked your teacher, you know, before you put any credits on your account, you come to this screen, italki.com/recharge, and you put in the amount of money that you want to put on your card or on your italki credits. And then you go ahead, scroll down and add a coupon. And in this box right here, you will put my name, Sonatina, redeem. And now up here, you'll see 10 free credits. So you were going to buy 40, now you have $50 of credits. So that's pretty great. All right, now I'm going to stop screen sharing and bring you back to me. Oh, drink of water. All right, so you've made a goal, you've picked out a teacher, and you're looking forward to your lesson. How do you get the most out of your lesson? First, make sure you have everything you need to succeed in the online lesson, including materials like a laptop, your passwords, books, flashcards. Try to find a quiet place if you can so you and the teacher can hear each other. You know, some people study on their commute. Some people can really focus in, but you know, having a night, being able to hear your teacher is important. During the lesson, speak a lot. In an hour-long lesson, I try to have my students aim for at least 45 minutes of speaking. Now, if this feels overwhelming, your teacher can help you build up to it. Remember, this is your opportunity to practice your English skills in a supportive environment. It's time to have fun with the language. Make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and relax that perfectionist habit. Ask questions. Your teacher is a great resource for new vocabulary and interesting facts about where they're from or where they live now. Idioms are a big part of language, and this comes from the culture we live in. Next, ask for homework and real-world sources. Even if your teacher doesn't have you on a formal learning plan, it's always useful to ask for some activities you can do between lessons to improve all your language skills. For example, sessions with me are intensely focused on speaking skills. My students will tell you their mouths get a real workout with me in my lessons. So between sessions, I have them focus on listening and writing. By assigning podcasts, they have to transcribe a small part of. They have to listen very closely and get it right. If your teacher does offer you a learning resource, like a TV show or a textbook that you don't think will help you, don't be scared to ask for something else. Don't be scared from your teacher. We're here to help. You can actually find your own resources too, and tell us that you want to use those. We like hearing what our students want to learn about. Don't be scared. We like working and helping you achieve your learning goals. That's what we're here for. I get really excited when my students come back and tell me that they were able to have a conversation without thinking about their language use. They just had it, and then after the fact, they realized, oh, I wasn't worried that I was going to say something wrong or, something like that. It's really great. So don't be scared. Use us as a resource to help you with your goal. Uh, so ask to record the lesson if your teacher doesn't offer. I liked recording lessons with my students and sending them a link to it after the video. Reviewing these videos between lessons really does help my students retain information better and improve their skills goals much, much faster. Finally, remember to incorporate what you learn from your lesson into your daily life. Learning a language requires some intense commitment. Nothing keeps you motivated to stick to the plan like feeling a connection with somebody in your new language. Now, how do you move from one level to another in the fastest way possible? My advice, pick one skill to focus on at a time, and practice it consistently. Now, learning a language requires a lot of different skills: a new sound bank, a new grammar, new vocabulary, new writing systems. It can be overwhelming. This overwhelm is one of the main reasons people don't succeed in their language learning goal. They don't see the progress fast enough, which becomes demoralizing and makes learning not fun. Focusing on one thing at a time will help reduce this overwhelm. I think it's best to start with pronunciation because everyone I've ever met who wants to learn English wants to do it to speak to other English speakers. The easier it is to speak with new friends in your new language, the easier it is to reach fluency. Now, excuse me. So, how do you create a language learning plan and stick to it? Be realistic. You want to dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to learning your new language. That's the dream. But not everybody has 30 minutes every day to dedicate to learning. It's always better to practice at least 5 minutes a day than 1 hour once a week. So if you have to spread it out, and 5 minutes a day can get you a long way versus just, putting it off until Saturday or Sunday. Give yourself breaks. The reason we set goals is so we have a chance to celebrate our progress. Dedicate yourself to working intensely for 5 weeks. Since you bought a 5-session package from a teacher on italki, then take a week off before embarking on a new 5-week mission. Incorporate language learning into your life's schedule. So if you have a big work deadline, or your kid has a big event, or you suddenly have to deal with a burst pipe at home, give yourself a break and lower your daily study goal. You won't be able to practice every skill every day. That doesn't mean you can't practice one skill and keep the momentum going. So I hope you've gotten a clear idea of how to get the most out of your English lessons. I would like to thank you for your time and joining me here today. And if users are joining late, I want to tell you, I want to share a coupon with you for learning English on italki with any teacher, not just me. So it's from me to you. And I'm going to put it in the comments in a little bit, but the coupon is my name, Saunatina, Saunatina, and it will only work on your first purchase on italki. So if you've already bought lessons or any credits or anything like that, it won't work for you. But if this is your first time using italki, then put that code on italki.com/recharge and you get $10 for your first lesson. So now I am available to take any questions you have regarding learning English. So write in your comments and I will go ahead and answer them. Let's see if I can get some. So, oh, we already have some questions. All right. So how do you search by which city they live in? Oh, that's a good question. So let me go ahead and see if I can find teacher. I'll share it in a second as soon as I find. So if I'm going to see if it works. Oops, not. Oh, yeah. So all you would do, let me go ahead and like I said, share my screen. There we are. All right, so we're back sharing the screen for the search. So here we're back on the search screen. And I put my city, I'm in Seattle, on this thing. And there are 7 of us here in Seattle. So you can search by city. And that's cool. So let's see if we have teachers in New York. Sure, we have teachers in New York. This might actually just also be coming out of their account. I'm not sure exactly where this is searching for. It might not be coming from their exact city, but if they have New York in their profile, then they'll come up on this list. All right, let me go ahead and stop. Oh, did I not present to everyone? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So here's the screen again. So as you see, I searched for New York and I have 51 teachers that I put in New York. And it was just under skills. So I put it here in New York. Los Angeles. Los Angeles correctly. So yeah, here we are. And we have 23 teachers in Los Angeles. All right, now come back to me. All right. This is an online service. You won't get private lessons in person, but by video chat. Yes, Sarati, that is true. And then what do you mean by they have a lot of hours? Oh, I mean about availability. So you on the screen when you're looking for the teacher, you can see how much availability you have. So if they have a lot of, if they match the availability that you need. And I see people are also talking in the screen. Thank you for answering each other's questions while I was talking to you all about the service. All right. How do you record it? What do you use? So I use Zoom. This is a platform that you can just record, and you don't. You just it's an in app recorder, so I don't have to use any other services. But there's lots of different teachers use other screen cast kind of things. So yeah, there's a lot of services that you can use to record things. I use Zoom because it's in app and I don't have to use anything else. So I finally, oops, oh, that's why. All right, just a second. I'm gonna get to this chat. I am. All right. So if you have any other questions, go ahead and type that into the chat window and I will see it. As I sign in on my other window. Technology. It's really great, but it's also really frustrating. So yeah, and that's actually really fun. So one of the great things about learning from teachers on italki is that we're all independent. So we all have a varied background. Some people did study language and they went to university and they have degrees in teaching in general. Some people, worked for many years in the corporate sphere. I was a software tester for many years, so I have a very, big technical background. And so you have a lot of, that kind of vocabulary. So I work with a lot of tech people because they like to, ask me about the tech industry and the language and the English that comes from the tech industry. Because even when you're learning a language, you're not just learning one language. There's a lot of different subcultures. So that's why I said earlier about picking a topic. So it's easier for you to learn vocabulary quicker when you narrow your vocabulary to something that you like talking about. And then once you have that sort of base of things that you, the narrow vocabulary, that comes along with it, the general language, like grammar, and intonation. You learn all these things along with that narrow topic. And then it's much easier to learn a different topic that maybe you don't have as much interest in because you have that language base already. What preposition to use when you're talking about, going into versus going on to something. And so you don't have to worry about that grammar on a topic that you don't care about. So that's why I really like to say focus on something you care about, focus on something you like doing, and think about who you want to talk to. There's lots of different people and ways of speaking in each language. We have formal and informal languages. So are you mostly interested in working? Like, do you work at an English speaking company and you want to be able to give out fantastic presentations with your to your coworkers? So you're going to have a different focus than somebody who's a vacationer. They like traveling. They are a couch surfer and they want to be able to, hang out with over beers with some people at a bar when they are traveling around the United States or around Canada or, Great Britain or wherever. So what's the focus? Who do you want to talk to? Because that will also influence the style that you learn. Yeah. So, hi, Elder. Welcome to the chat. Yeah. And like I said, thank you so much for everybody else. I see Mateo has been very helpful. Thank you, Mateo, for chatting to everybody and putting that in there. Oh, yay. I finally have my chat ready, so I can put the coupon in the chat. And you can all see. There we go. There we go. We have the coupon code Sonatina for $10 off your first purchase of credits on italki. You want to add it to the website italki.com/recharge. There we go. Now, remember, it won't work if you've already taken or scheduled a lesson. It's only for your first time. That's coupon code Sonatina, SAUNATINA. It's not often you'll meet people in English with a 4-syllable word or 4-syllable name. So yeah, it's fun to teach. And that's my favorite thing to teach. So I like focusing on pronunciation. Like I said, for me, learning a language is about connecting with somebody in another language. When I learned Spanish, when I'm thinking about the trips I'm going to take to Mexico, that I've taken to Mexico to research my genealogy. And I want to be able to talk with a clerk at the county clerk's office, and they have different names for them down there. But, I want to be able to talk to somebody about researching a genealogy chart. So I'm going to have very specific vocabulary that I'm working on. And like I said, I have the focus, the talking focus. I want to speak these things. So I search on italki for somebody from Mexico because I want to make sure that I can understand them. And I asked my professor, my teacher, tell me how can I sound better? Like, am I not pronouncing the words correctly? Do I have the wrong emphasis? Word emphasis, rhythm in a language is really important. And so is intonation. Intonation is the tone. So, in English, we have something called the questioning tone. Oh, really? That really? The little hook at the end. We go up and down. Is that your bagel? Echo. So tones really matters. It has an impact on the meaning of the word. Not doesn't change um, the the particular definition, but it changes the feeling of how you use the word. So, and I'm here to take questions. I'm just kind of chatting. I'm going to be talking to you about different English topics, but you're welcome to ask me specific things about your English if you want to use this time as sort of free lesson. I have 15 minutes more to chat with you about English, so bring me those questions. I'm reading through the chat now. Take a drink first. Mm-hmm. So yeah, doesn't look like too much activities happen in the chat right now. So I want to, you know, let's talk. Oh goodness, not a lot of people watching right now. Uh, oops, wrong window. There we go. So, oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to go quiet on you. So, like I said, learning a language takes a lot of different skills. So one of the things, the first things that I tell people when you're learning a new language, if pronunciation, if speaking is your goal, you're going to want to start with the foundations, of the language. And the foundation of any language is the individual sounds. In linguistic terms, we call these morphemes, or so the that individual sound that people have trouble with, the hard th sound, the soft th sound, or the r sound, the very strong American r sound. Those are individual sounds, and those little things combine to make up words. And if you can't make the individual sounds correctly, then it gets harder to put the correct emphasis on the correct syllable in the word sometimes. So focusing on those fundamentals, the individual sounds of a language first, is going to give you a really useful tool on your further language learning adventures. So in English, we have, let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 vowels, and vowel sounds. Now, the vowel sounds and vowels are different. You probably know the English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The English alphabet doesn't quite match the English sound system. The English sounds have a lot more, there are a lot more English sounds than there are letters in the English language. So we use different combinations of letters to create the many, many different sounds. And one letter can sometimes represent 2, 3, 4 different sounds. This is why many English learners get frustrated by English. The spelling, it doesn't make sense because over time, a lot of different languages added to the English language, and they brought some of their spelling with it. And we don't, have a one-to-one correlation between the sounds that we use and the letters we use. So I try to get away from writing. I try to not have my students really even look at words or letters or anything like that for a while to start. I start with sounds. I try to make sure that they can identify the different sounds in English and that they can replicate them fairly easily. And then we move on to the next part of pronunciation. Oh, it looks like Jamie has just asked a question. So, is learning more than one language at a time advised? I would say not really. Um, yeah, when you're learning a language, you want to dedicate as much time as possible, as quickly as possible, to the one language. So, if you're interested in learning, 2 or 3 languages, I would say do it in uh, a succession of 6-month goals. You can focus really intensely for 6 months on one language, and then you'll probably get up to a B1 level. If you're working on it consistently every day for 6 months, you could easily get up to B1, especially if you have a teacher helping you along. Um, and then you switch to the other language. So you have another 6-month goal to get up to the next language to B1. And you come back to the other language. Now, while you're learning the second language, you can maintain the first language. That can be done. You don't spend as much time on it. You just kind of keep it aware. You keep aware of it. I like listening to music personally. So if German is another language I really love learning. And so I switch between German and Spanish and Japanese quite often. Those are the 3 languages that I'm focused on. And so when I'm not focused on one specific language, I'll make sure that I'm watching a show or listening to music in the other languages to keep them active. I'm not intensely focused, but they're always present. So my brain doesn't have time to forget about them. So that's what I suggest if you're interested in learning more than one language at a time, is chunk it up into different goals, different times. So 3 to 6 months is generally a good time, a good time frame to plan a language learning goal. You're welcome, Jamie. Yeah, and if anybody else has any other questions, please bring them on in. I love answering. Language is super fun. I love learning languages. It's so interesting how people communicate with each other. How we get our thoughts out. It's such a fascinating topic to me, and so I love talking about all the kinds of things about it. But to get us back to until we have any more questions, I'll sort of go over the pronunciation. So you have, like I said, vowel sounds, and you also have consonant sounds. Consonant sounds, those are when the breath is stopped by an obstruction. So vowel sounds are all open. So, the tongue isn't touching anything else in the mouth to block the air from coming out. Those are vowel sounds. Now, consonant sounds that the tongue is blocking or the lips are blocking. Mm, mm is a consonant sound because the air can't escape. The air is blocked from going straight, so it has to go around my tongue. And it changes the way that the air sounds to us. And those slight changes influence how we understand a language. And that's why learning those individual sounds is really important. Let's see. So we've gone over the vowel sounds, and then we have consonant sounds. Now, consonant sounds, they give people some trouble. I pointed out a few of them because, well, it's the same for the vowel sounds, right? Different languages use different sounds. Our mouths are go into different shapes depending on the language we speak. So it can be difficult to retrain your muscles. That's what it is. Learning pronunciation is training your tongue, is training your muscles. So that's a physical exercise that people don't feel comfortable with. And using these lessons, using somebody who's supportive to help you through the awkwardness that you feel when you're retraining your muscles. It's like going to a gym. It feels kind of awkward to do a workout, but when you have a personal trainer, it makes it a little bit more comfortable. So we have a few more questions. So Elder65 asked, if I have a B2 level, what should I focus the most to get to a C1 level? So it's hard to give you a generic one because there are the 4 different skills of learning a language. So you have reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And depending on where you're weak in your B1 is where you should focus. Do you struggle with speaking? Then find somebody like me and get really focused on pronunciation and get comfortable talking with your teacher. Uh, do you struggle with writing? Writing is pretty difficult. I actually speak much better than I write any of my languages just because I don't practice it as much. It's a new skill. So if you struggle with writing, with getting the grammar right, then focus on that. It really does depend on which skill you're weakest in order to get you to the next level the fastest. Okay. So we have Fabio. Fabio, is it normal to find more difficult to understand music than people talking English? Absolutely. Music is difficult to understand because it plays with the rules of a language. You know, um, when when I teach English, there are rules with pronunciation. There are rules with how we use emphasis. Like I've been saying, the right syllable. You want to make sure you emphasize the right syllable, not the wrong syllable. Syllable, syllable. See, it makes a big difference in how you hear the word and what the word means to us. So music plays with those rules. It does change the emphasis on the syllable. And so it can be a lot harder if you're not a native speaker because you're already struggling with trying to hear the correct rules, the regular rules. So when people are playing with the rules, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to understand. At the same time, though, I want to say, first I'm going to take a sip. Um, Learning through nursery rhymes is a great way to use music to learn rhythm. That's one of the main ways I teach rhythm in my lessons is using nursery rhymes, because the way we learned language as a child is still the most effective way to learn language as an adult. The repetition, getting really it in your brain that you can quickly and easily recite a nursery song like Mary Had a Little Lamb. If you can sing that song with confidence, then you have a good understanding of English rhythm. So I like using really simple songs to teach this skill. Yeah. So, oh, cool. Thanks, Jacob. I'm glad some of my information about language is interesting to some people. Huge language nerd. So like I said, I could talk about it all day. So, but I like answering questions more than I like rambling. So I have about 2 more minutes. So if you have any final questions, I am going to put that coupon one more time into the chat now that I can put it into the chat. So if you haven't had any more lessons yet, you can use this coupon. $10 off for your first lesson of italki, and it's only good if you enter it here at italki.com/recharge. So make sure that you put that coupon code in if you haven't taken a lesson or if you haven't put any money on your account yet. All right, so speaking nursery rhymes, would it be helpful to read children's books? I'm an adult, Jamie. Yes. Great question, Jamie, and it's absolutely the best thing. I use a lot of books that I grew up with. I assign these books to my students because most students are my own age, in their 30s, 40s. We generally have the same idea. We would have read the same books when we were kids. So I assign them those books, and they have simpler language, and you get a really good understanding of the grammar and and new vocabulary that actually sometimes even explained to you in the text, because it's for us, it's for native students, native English speakers, to learn the language too. So it's a great way to use the native resources, simple children's books. One of my favorites is for a really big, like if you're A2 or so, a B1, A2, then I would say Ramona, um, Ramona Quimby, Age 8. Great book by Beverly Cleary. Everything by Beverly Cleary. Just read all of Beverly Cleary. One more question, and then I've got to get going. So we have one more question. I'm 1 month into my German studies, but I've been studying Japanese for about 5 years. I find myself retreating back to Japanese when I'm at a loss for words in German. How can I overcome this? Um, it is about focusing on building those vocabulary words. You know, vocabulary is the mountain, right? It's really the biggest hurdle to learning a language is all of these new words that you're going to have to learn. Pronunciation, grammar, those are finite. You know, you can learn them pretty quickly. Really, it's vocabulary that you have struggled with. So you want to make sure that you are focused on the specific vocabulary that you find yourself struggling with when you switch a language. Um, and then, okay, so And then, okay, one more question. Can I give an example of a simple song? So I give Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's a great song. So if you go to YouTube and just search Mary Had a Little Lamb, you'll see a bunch of options for different songs that people have made for children to learn. So if you look up those, then you will find some of those stuff. So I have to get going. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on this exploration of italki. And I do hope to you use that coupon Sonatina at italki.com/recharge to get $10 off your first lesson. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a fabulous day or night.